Hello students, welcome back to today's class on comparing quantities using proportions, and today we are in lecture number 2. In the last class we have discussed what is a proportion, how to compare the quantities. Let's try to discuss more applications based on that. Right, my name is Avinash and I'm a graduate from IIT Kharagpur. Let's start today's session. So what is proportion, which we have discussed already in the last class, right? So we know already what is the ratio. Right, and when we are comparing or when we are trying to bring some relation between two ratios, A is to B and C is to D, and if these two are equal, right, if A is to B and C is to D, if these two are equal, or A is to B is as C is to D, that is how we read that. A is to B is as C is to D. That means if these two ratios are equal, we say they are in proportion. I'll give you a small example. For example, 2 is to 10 and 3 is to 15. So what happens in these two ratios? So it is 2 by 10, which is equal to 1 by 5, and it is 3 by 15, which is again equal to 1 by 5. So you can say that these two are equal. 2 is to 10, 3 is to 15 is also equal to 1 is to 5, is also equal to a lot of relations. Right? So all these are in proportion. We say if these two ratios are equal, they are in proportion. Okay, we read this as A is to B is proportionate to C is to D. A is to B is proportionate to C is to D, right? So that is how we try to bring some relations. And as a small example here, if you're talking about yellow balls. So out of 3 balls, 1 ball is yellow, and out of 6 balls, 2 balls are yellow. So these two are the same ratios. So these two, we say them, they are in proportion. In proportion, we don't talk about numbers. We don't talk how many balls we're having. We don't talk about how many number of balls, number of green balls, number of yellow balls, number of blue balls. But the final ratio, the final value of the ratio should be same throughout. Then we say they are in proportion. Okay, this is what we have discussed. And we also discussed one more question, right? The income of Kumar for 3 months is 15,000. Okay, for 3 months it is 15,000. So let us say 3 is to 15,000. The months is to his expenditure. What is the income? That means 3 is to 15,000 or 3 1s 3 5s, right? So 1 is to 5,000. Both are same. They are in proportion. 3 is to 15,000 or 1 is to 5,000, both are same. And if he earns the same amount for a month, right, how much will he earn in 5 months? See, for 3 months it is 15,000. Okay, so 3 months it is 15,000, which should be equal to some 5 months and some X rupees, which we don't know. What is that X rupees? We still don't know that, right? So how to solve this one? These are just fractions. These are just fractions. So it is 3 by 15,000. 3 by 15,000 is equal to 5 by X. 3 by 15,000 is equal to 5 by X, right? So 3 1s and 3 5s. So that is 5,000. So if you cross multiply, this 1 X into 1 is X is equal to 5,000 into 5, which is 25,000. So for 5 months, his income will be 25,000, right? That's what we have discussed in the last class. And how many months will he earn to earn 95,000 rupees? So for 3 months, 15,000. For 3 months, if it is 15,000, for how many months? For how many months we get 95,000? We get 95,000. That is how we use a proportionate. A is to B and C is to D. These two are in proportions. So when we say in proportion, we can equate the fractions directly, right? So 3 by 15,000 is equal to X by 95,000. So once you solve this, you will get the answer. Let us try to verify that. So 000 and 000 gets cancelled on both the sides. 3 1s, 3 5s, right? So X is equal to 95 by 5. 95 by 5. So that is a 19. X is equal to 19, right? So he takes 19 months. He takes 19 months to get or to earn 95,000 rupees if he is earning at the rate of 3 months and 15,000 rupees. Right, so this is what we have discussed in last class. Once again, let's start to continue with more applications. The word percent. Yes, even percentage we started in the last class, right? So what is a percentage? When we compare in the quantities, so we compare sometimes with percent. The word percent means per every 100. The word percent means per every 100 or for 100 or for 100. Symbol we use that as a percentage, not with this one. So this is symbol for percentage. This is symbol for a percentage, right? So it is a per 100. For example, I say I got 10 marks out of 100. I got 10 marks out of 100, so that is equal 10%. I said per every 100. For 100, I got 10 marks. Okay, some person will come and say that I got 90 marks out of the 100, so his percentage is 90%. His percentage is 90%. I don't understand. It's a percentage. You need to understand that. Right? 1%. 1% can be written as 1 by 100, and in decimal notation, we can also write that as 0.01. 93% can also be written as 93 by 100, which is a 0.93. I'll give, for example, 53%. 53%, which is 53 by 100, which is a 0.53. 53 by 100, which is a 0.53, right? So in that way, we have a lot of, we have different representation. You can write as 53%, you can write as 53 by 100, we can write as 0.53. The same thing happens with your school marks and everything, right? You have a couple of subjects, let's say you have 5-6 subjects, right? In every paper, let's say for 100 marks, and you get some marks and you calculate the percentage. So percentage, if you're getting, let us say you are getting 90%, 95%, 99, 98%, that means on an average in every subject, you got 98 marks out of 100. If you got only 30%, that is 35%. So that means on an average, you got 35 marks in every subject. That is how percentage can be related, right? So that's let's try to learn more about percentage. Last year, the cost of commodity was 40 rupees. So there is a case here. There is a real life case here, right? You know the cost of the prices, the cost of any when we are purchasing anything. So they may increase or decrease day by day, depending on the product. Not definitely every product will go on increasing its price. Sometimes due to the market's ups and downs, the price also will get down, right? So now, the cost of a commodity means some unit, okay? Let's say some box or something, a pen, ball. Last year, the cost of a ball was 40 rupees. Let's say the cost of a ball was 40 rupees. What happened? So this year, the cost of the same commodity increased to 50, from 40 to 50. We need to give 50 rupees now to purchase that. So now definitely we know that from 40 to 50 there is some change. But the point is how much difference, that's not the question. If it is how much difference, what is the difference between the cost, you can directly tell me 50 minus 40 is 10. You can directly tell me 50 minus 40 is 10. But what is the percentage change in its price? The point is what is the percentage change in its price? So what we can say here? So, percentage means per every 100. But here we are talking about 40 rupees or 50 rupees. Right? Let's see that. Okay. So, what is the change in price? What is the actual cost? Last year cost is 40 rupees. From 40, okay. So, the new cost is 50 rupees. So, what is the change? Change in price is equal to 15 minus 10, which is 40. Sorry, 50 minus 40, which is 10. That is the that is a change. We know, we can see that, okay, there is a change of 10 rupees. It's change of 10 rupees, okay. 40, this 4 rupees 40, right? So this again rupees 50. This year, the cost of the commodity increased to 50 rupees. What is the percentage change in its price? What is the percentage change in its price? So now tell me, okay, percentage change is per every 100, but here we're talking about 40. So the percentage is how much change? The change is 10 by what is the actual cost it used to be there before by 40, 10 by 40, and that into 100 per every 100. So we multiply that with 100 percentage. Okay. So 0 and 0 gets cancelled. 4 ones and 4 25s. So the cost of the product is increased by 25%. From 40 rupees, it got increased by 20%, 25% of that 40 rupees. And we are getting 50 rupees. Let us calculate what is that 25%. Okay. So 25%, that is 25 by 100 of 40, let's say. 25% of 40. So 0 and 0 gets cancelled, right? So 25 into 4 is 100. 100 by 10, that is rupees 10. So 10 rupees, there is a change. Right, 10 rupees, there is a change, that is 25% change in its price. 25% change in its price, right? So let's try to move forward. So here we have a small question. 64% plus 20% plus some amount or some percentage is equal to 100%. 64 plus 20 plus some X percentage should be equal to 100%. So see, when I'm talking about per 100, when I say per 100, so 100 percentage means the complete. It's a complete 100 by 100. Okay, 100 percentage means 100 by 100, which is equal to 1. 1 means a complete set. Complete set. That means always the sum of the percentages will be equal to 100%. Right? So 64 plus 26 plus to 84, 84 percentage plus X will be equal to 100 percentage. So X is equal to 100 minus 84 percentage. 100 minus 84, you know, it is 16 percentage, right? So 100 minus 84 percentage, so it is a 16 percentage. So the difference 64% plus 20% plus 16% is equal to 100 percentage, right? 64 plus 20 plus 16 is equal to 100 percentage, right? So always the sum of the percentages in one situation will always be equal to 100. You cannot combine multiple situations and you cannot say that sir, it is crossing 100. Definitely it may. In one case, let's say you got 90%, another case some other person got 90%, and you cannot club these to say you got 180% in total. No, percentage we only talk about per 100. That means it cannot cross 100. Yes, there are places where we use 110%, 200%, 300%. It got increased so many number of times, right? But always the percentage in one situation, okay, 64% of something plus 20% of something is equal to 100% of something, right? So definitely the total should be equal to 100%. From there you get the answer 16%, right? Next one. 40% of a number is 800, then find the number. 40%, I told you percentage means per 100. Per 100. So 40%, so 40 by 100 of a number, what is that number? We don't know. Of a number X is equal to 800. Of a number X is equal to 800. So this 0 and 0 gets cancelled. Okay. 4 and 4 20s are 80, 4 20s are, right? So X by 100 is equal to 20. So X is equal to 2000. 2000. So 40% of this number should be equal to 800. Let's verify that. If you want to verify 40% of 2000, let's see what is that. 0 0 0 gets cancelled. 4 into is 8 and 0 0. So it is 800. Once again, 40% of a number is 800, then find the number. 40% of a number is 800, then find the number. So that will give you 2000 rupees. So 2000, what is the number? What is the quantity? It is 2000. Right? Next one. Last year, the cost of 1000 articles was 5000. Last year, the cost of 1000 articles was 5000. Okay. This year, it goes down to 4000. That means there is a decrease in price. Can you see that? There is a decrease in price. What is the percentage of decrease in price? Percentage of decrease. So how much price got decreased? The price got decreased by, actually it should be 5000. Now it is 4000. So 5000 minus 4000 is 1000. So percentage of decrease means 1000 by the difference of what got decreased by. What is the actual amount it used to be there? 5000. The actual amount is 5000, so into 100. That is how you calculate the percentage. Percentage is always with respect to 100. 000 and 000 gets cancelled. So it is 100 by 5. 100 by 5, which is a 20%. 100 by 5 is 20. So 20%. So what is the meaning of that? Last year when the cost of 1000 articles was 5000, now from 5000 it got reduced by 20%, and finally the present cost is 4000 rupees. Understand? So that is how you try to calculate the percent. Just a minute. Yeah, that is how you calculate to find the percentages. Let's move for the next question. By what percent is rupees 2000 less than rupees 2400? So we need to compare with this one. Next, is it the same as the percentage by which 2400 is more than rupees 2000? So now we need to compare with this quantity. So you need to understand the mathematics properly, the English wording properly. Say 2000 less than what? Actually, what is the actual quantity? 2400. That is the main thing. So what is the difference of these 2000 minus 2400? It is 400. right? So by what percent? By what percent means the change is 400. We are comparing with 2400, not with 2000. That is the only mistake you do. That is the only mistake you do. Instead of taking 2400, you take 2000. No. See, we are comparing 2000 with 2400. So 2400 should be in the denominator into 100. Right? So 0, 0, 0 gets cancelled. 4 ones, 4, 6. So it is 100 by 6. It is 100 by 6. So we can say that 6 and 100. So 6, 1, 6. Then 4, 0. 6, 6 is 36. Again 4.0. And that 6 continues. So it is 16.66 percentage. We round it up to 2 decimals. Okay. We don't go beyond that. It is a never ending. It is a recurring decimal. 0.6666 and so on. So we stop it at 16.66 percentage. Now, is it the same as the percentage by which 2400 is more than rupees 2000? So rupees 2000 is the main comparing quantity, right? So now again, percentage of the second case will be, okay, 2400 more than 2000. By what amount it is, by how much amount it is more? You can easily see that 2400 is 2000. So there is a difference of 400. There is a difference of 400. So 400 by, so now it is very important. Again, don't try to confuse. Now the comparing quantity is 2000. Now the comparing quantity is 2000. So 2000 into 100. So 00 and 00 gets cancelled. Okay. So this 0 and 0 gets cancelled. 40 by 2. 40 by 2, which is a 20%. So once again, see here. From 2000 to 2400, when we're taking 2400 as a base, we got there is a change of 16.66 percentage. But here, when the base is 2000 and when we're going to 2400, we can say that the shift is by 20%. So there is a same. So now the question is it the same as? Is it the same as? I said no. The answer is no, these two are not the same quantities because the comparison quantity is different. There it is 2400, in the second case it is 2000. So these two are two different things and we got two different ratios. Understand? Let's try to move for one more. If 9 out of 24 students scored below 75%, okay. So 9 out of 24 got below 75%. So now tell me, how many more students are there who got more than 75%? 24 minus 9, correct? 24 minus 9, which is 13, right? Not 13, sorry, 15. It should be 15, right? Okay, so more, we have 15 people. We have more 15 students who scored equal to or greater than 75%. See, here 9 by 24 is the people who got less than 75%, but here there are more 15 students who got equal to or greater than 75%. The question is, right, find the ratio means we need to compare two quantities. Ratio of students scored below 75%, that is 9. Okay, that is 9. The ratio of the students who scored below 75% to the students who scored 75% and above. 75 and above, we have 15. So 9 by 15 is the final required answer, which is 3 3s and 3 5s. So let's try to divide 5 and 3. 0.0. 5 6 are 30, which is 0. 5 6 are 30, which is 0. So which is a 0.6. Which is a 0.6. Understand? So now, what is the ratio of students scored below 75% to the students scored above 75% is a 0.6, or you can say 3 by 5. Or as it is asked ratio, the final answer you can write as a 3:5. The ratio is a 3:5. This is the same value represented in fraction and decimal, but here as it is asked in ratio, just write it as a 3:5. All three answers are correct. Okay. So moving forward for the next question, Rehana receives 25% of the profit in each month. So she has a business, Rehana, right? So out of that business, there is some profit, and she takes 25% of the profit every month. Every month, let's say you have 4 rupees, out of that 1 rupee will be her. You have 100 rupees, you'll get 25 rupees from that, right? So Rehana receives 25% of the profit in each month. If Rehana received 2018 particular month, what is the total profit in that month? Okay, so 25%. The question is 25% of the profit is equal to 2080, right? So we need to find what is the total amount. Okay, so 25%, 25 by 100 into that x is equal to 2080. What is that 8? What is that x? That is the total amount. Total profit, x is total profit. We know that x equal total profit. X is total profit. 25% of the total profit is equal to 2080, right? So 25 ones, 25 fours. So x by 4 is equal to 2080. So x is equal to 2080 into 4, which is 208 into 4. So 8 4s are 32, 4 0 0 3, 4 2s are 8, which is 8320. 8320, 208 into 4, 8 4s are 2, 4 0 0 3, 4 4s are 4 2s are 8, 8320. So that is the total profit. Total profit is 8,320 rupees. Out of that, her share of 25% will be 2,080 rupees in that particular month. Right. I hope you are understanding all these topics. One more question, then we'll stop it here. A farmer obtained a yielding of 1,720 bags of cotton last year. Right. So there is a farmer who is growing cotton-related plants, and he got total 1,720 bags in the complete year. But this year, she expects her crop to 20% more. Good. From 1720, she is expecting 20% more than last year. How many bags of cotton does she expect this year? So, if 1720 is the case of the last year, out of that 20% we need to take there. That amount will be, is her exceed, this is expects her crop to be 20% more. So, that many bags will be more number of bags, and the total number of things will give you the total number of bags, how many bags she is expecting, right? So I hope you understood the question, so please try it properly, right? So that's all for today's class, and that's all for this chapter. In the coming class, we're going to have a small practice session on the same topic, comparing quantities using proportions, right? Thank you so much, students. Stay tuned to get the next lecture. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so now we'll be discussing about the laws of reflection. Okay, so my name is Shashan Reddy, I'm a graduate from IIT Dhanbad. Let's go into the class. So here, first of all, what is reflection? Now whenever light falls on an opaque surface, not any other surface, opaque surface, most of the light bounces back, it goes back. And this phenomena is called as what? Or this bouncing back of light is called reflection of light. For example, just look at this. We'll first compare it with something. We'll compare reflection of light with this. Let's say you have a wall, and we'll take a ball, we'll throw a ball on the wall. We'll throw this ball on the wall, and let's see what happens. What happens? The ball bounces back. Yes or no? Right? Similarly, if I take an opaque surface, now why are we only considering opaque surface? What does an opaque surface mean, or opaque object mean? It means these objects, like opaque objects, do not allow light to pass through them. We cannot see through opaque objects. For example, this specs, okay, the lens of my specs, I can see through them. That means light can pass through them. They are transparent. They are transparent. But can I see through this remote? I cannot. So this remote is opaque. So whenever you take any opaque surface and a light ray or light is incident on it, it also bounces back because it cannot go through, it cannot pass through. What happens instead is it comes back, it bounces back. This bouncing back of light is called reflection of light. It's called reflection of light. Simple enough. Okay. Now, here let's say again we'll take an opaque surface. There is a light ray incident or falling on it. Now it bounces back. The question is, in which direction will it bounce back? It can bounce back in this direction, it can bounce back in this direction, it can bounce back in this direction, right? So among these three, which direction will it be, or will it be any other direction? Obviously, from your previous grades, you can easily tell that, sir, the answer will be 2. But why are we able to say the answer as 2? How? Is there any law regarding it? Is there any rule for it? Yes, there are a few rules. And those rules are nothing but laws of reflection. Using those laws, we can predict the direction of reflected ray, the direction in which the ray will go after reflection. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be learning about those laws of reflection. Okay, good. But before that, we have to understand a few topics, a few concepts. First of all, there is something called as normal. What is normal? Normal is just a line, but which line? A perpendicular line. A line drawn perpendicular to a surface is called normal. When I say perpendicular, what will the angle be? 90 degrees. So 90 degrees is nothing but right angles. So normal will be at right angles to the surface or at 90 degrees to the surface. And if you want to know perpendicular, see this. These two lines are perpendicular. They make an L shape. But what about these two lines? They are not perpendicular because there is no L shape. So whenever you get an L shape, okay, then it means it is what? They are at right angles. Now you might think, sir, then what about this? This is not an L shape. But these two are perpendicular. Yes, just rotate them. On rotating also, if you are able to get this L shape, that means they are perpendicular. We show the angle as 90 by drawing these two lines. Okay, good. And normal is generally denoted by a dotted line. So if this is a surface, for that we draw what? We draw a normal. So normal is just an imaginary line. It's a line, that's it. It has nothing to do with light. It is not a what? No, ray, not a light ray. It is not a light ray. Very important. Many get confused with this. Many think that normal is also what? Normal is also a light ray, but it is not. It is just an imaginary line. It is just an imaginary line which is perpendicular. See that here. When I draw it this way, it means the angle is 90 degrees. Does it make an L shape? It makes an L shape. So L shape will mean perpendicular, right angle, 90 degrees. The same. Got it? It is not a light ray. It is just an imaginary line. Good. Then we'll go into angle between two lines. By now you should know what angle is. You might have learnt that in maths. But if you still don't know, that's fine. What do we use? We use a protractor. Okay, protractor is something that we use to measure the angle. So what exactly is an angle? An angle is something that measures the separation between two lines. How are two lines separated? That's what is measured by an angle. And we use a protractor for that. So how do we get the angle between these two lines? Look at this. Here it is 0. From 0 we are going to what? Which value? 30. So the angle here between them is 30 degrees. It's like a scale, yes or no? If I have a scale in this way, at one end if it is 0, right? And at the other end it is 5 centimeter. Then what is the length of this box? 5 centimeter. Right? 0 to 5. So the answer is 5 centimeter. Similarly, here also we are making use of a scale, a protractor, a special type of scale. Got it? If I take these two lines, we are starting from 0, but we are going to where? Between 40 and 50. And if you count the divisions, you will get that as 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Then here see, 0 to what? 60 degrees. We start from 0. So you might think, sir, what about these values? Here you are starting from 180 and going to 120. In that case, what will you do? You have to subtract them. If 0 is not the 1, then you subtract them. 180 minus 120, that is also 60. Okay? But obviously 0 is preferable. Then between these two lines, see, they form an L shape. They are perpendicular. See here, we are starting at 0 and going until where? 90. So it is how much? 90 degrees. Then what about this? We are starting at 0 and going until 120. So it is 120 degrees. Then again, these two lines, if I compare these two lines, one is towards right, the other is towards left. So we start from 0 and we are going until 180. So for a straight line, what is the angle? 180 degrees. So you understand all of this, or you get all the angles using what? Using a protractor. Got it? Good. Now, why was that important? Because we will go into some terms related to reflection of light. This is a mirror, or you can say any opaque surface. This is a mirror or any opaque surface. When light is incident on a mirror, which ray do we call it as? We call it as incident ray. And how do you identify an incident ray? Using the arrow. Look at the arrow. In which direction is it? It is towards the mirror, towards the opaque surface, towards it. It is going to fall on it. So arrow will tell us whether it is an incident ray or something else. That is the reason why showing arrows is very, very, very important. Then this point here is called as point of incidence. What is it called as? Point of incidence. And what is this line? You know that it is normal. It is just an imaginary line drawn to the mirror, perpendicular to mirror. Then this is what? Reflected ray. And look at the arrow. In which direction is the arrow? It is going away after reflection. Right? So that is the reason why it is reflected ray. Reflected ray. Now comes the interesting part. This angle. Told you, right? Between two lines, the separation between two lines can be measured using angle. So what about this angle here? The separation between incident ray and the normal. Or what is the angle between the incident ray and the normal? It is called as angle of incidence. I is what? I is angle of incidence. Look at that carefully. It is what? It is the angle between normal and incident ray. That's it. No other definition. Similarly, we have reflected ray. And what is this angle? Or it is angle of reflection. Angle of reflection. Got it? Good. Now some terms. I think we have discussed that already. Yeah. So here we are talking about angle of incidence. It refers to the angle between normal and the incident ray. The symbol is small I. We discussed that. And angle of reflection R refers to the angle between normal and the reflected ray. Simple enough. So we know all the terms. Incident ray, normal, reflected ray, angle of incidence and angle of reflection. The main terms. And obviously there is point of incidence, this point. Okay, good. Now we'll go into the laws of reflection. Laws will mean rules, the rules of reflection. What rules does reflection follow? The first rule. The incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray lie on the same plane. The most important term. Same plane. Same plane at the point of incidence. I'll explain that. Just wait for some time. And the second one is angle of reflection is equal to angle of incidence. This is a pretty easy one. Second one is a pretty easy rule. Look at this. Let's say this is a table. It's a surface. Okay. So imagine a table. On that table, light is incident. That is the incident ray. This is the normal. So this angle is angle of incidence. That is a reflected ray. Right. So this angle is what? Angle of reflection. If I look at this, what is given? Angle of reflection is equal to angle of incidence. That means if I is 33 degrees, R will be 33 degrees. Both of them will be equal. If I is 17 degrees, R will be 17 degrees. If I is 55 degrees, R will be 55 degrees. Both of them will be equal. Got it? Second one is pretty simple. That's fine. Now comes another interesting one. What does this same plane point refer to? What is its significance? I'll explain that to you. So for that, just look at me. So we are taking two pens here. One is this black colored pen and the blue one. Can you see it? The blue cap. Blue cap and the black colored pen. So let's say I'm holding it in this way. Let's say the angle between them is 45 degrees. How much? 45 degrees. Let's just hold it like this. You can see that, right? 45. How much? 45 degrees. That's only for an example's sake. Now, if I rotate it in this way, I'm rotating it. I'll hold this pen. I'll rotate it. What is the angle? Did the angle change? You can try doing it. I'm just using two hands. You can do that, so do it. Will the angle change? The angle will not change. Okay. So if you say that this is a normal. This is normal. And if the angle made with normal is 45 degrees, or if a line makes an angle of 45 degrees with the normal, draw that line. The question is this. A line makes 45 degrees with the normal, draw the line. Can you draw it? Okay, I'll draw this line. Here also it is 45 degrees. This is correct. Then here also it is 45 degrees. That also is correct. Then here also. Here also, here also, here also, here also. If you rotate this, what do you get? You get a cone. So only based on angle you cannot define or you cannot predict which will it be. I'll give another example. Look at this, we'll come back to the laws of reflection. This is the angle of, this is what? The incident ray, sorry. This is the normal. The second one tells that angle of reflection is equal to angle of incidence. So let's say that this angle is 45 degrees. So that means the angle of reflection should also be 45 degrees. But if I take the normal in this way, such that, if I take the normal in this way, such that the angle is 45 degrees, then also the second rule will be valid. Angle of reflection is equal to angle of incidence. Yes, it is also true now. Incident ray, normal, reflected ray. It is true. Right, so it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, anyhow. Right, understood? So if you only tell the angle, it is not enough. If this is normal, if this is reflected ray, angle 45 degrees, the reflected ray could be anything. So is that enough to tell us in which direction will the reflected ray be? It is not at all enough. Not at all enough. So what will we do? There is a special rule it follows. They lie on the same plane at the point of incidence. Look at this. This is incident ray. This is normal. Both of them are on the screen. So what is the plane? The plane is the screen. So this reflected ray should also lie on the screen itself. The reflected ray should also lie on the screen itself or on the same plane. Then how many are possible? Only one is possible, such that the angle I is equal to angle R. Okay, that is the reason why these two laws are important. Both of them are important. The same plane and the angles are equal. Those two conditions are important. Got it? So using the laws of reflection, we can predict in which direction the reflected ray will go. Okay? Good. So this is to show that all of them lie on the same plane. So we have a simple question here. Let's solve a few questions then. If the angle of incidence is 30 degrees, what is the angle of reflection? You have a few options: 30, 45, 60 and 90. The angle of incidence is 30 degrees. What is the angle of reflection? Yeah, everyone, what is that going to be? The answer will be, what is the angle of reflection? What is the answer going to be? Very simple, straightforward. The answer is 30 degrees itself. Why? Because given information is I is equal to 30 degrees. So the angle of reflection is also going to be 30 degrees. Why? According to the laws of reflection, I is equal to R. Both of them are equal. That is the reason why R is also 30 degrees. Okay? Good. Next. If the angle of reflection is 45 degrees, what is the angle of incidence? Again, a pretty simple, straightforward question. Quick. 15 seconds should be more than enough. Angle of reflection is given. What is the angle of incidence? Yeah? Angle of reflection is 45 degrees. What is the angle of incidence? It will be the same. It will also be 45 degrees because reflection, angle of reflection 45 degrees. I is equal to R. So I is equal to 45 degrees. That's it. Both of them are equal. B. Good. Okay. Then next. If the angle of incidence is 30 degrees, what is the angle between the incident ray and the reflected ray? Now this is an interesting question. I will give you how much time? 30 seconds of time. The clue to this is to draw the diagram. When you draw the diagram, you will get the answer. So please solve it. Please solve it, everyone. The angle of incidence is given. You have to find out the angle between the incident and the reflected ray. The clue is to draw the diagram. So 3, 2, 1, and the time is up. Let me solve it for you. So let's draw the diagram here, by the way. Let's say this is an opaque surface. Let's say this is incident ray. Right? If I draw the normal here, this will be the reflected ray. Yes? So this is angle of incidence, this is angle of reflection. Simple. But what is asked here? The angle between the incident ray and the reflected ray. That is what is asked. And what does that mean? That means we need this angle. And how much is that angle going to be? It is going to be I plus R. It is going to be I plus R. So angle between incident ray and reflected ray is going to be equal to what? Going to be equal to angle of incidence plus angle of reflection, I plus R. So what is it given us here? I is given as 30 degrees. So if I is 30 degrees, R will also be 30 degrees because both of them are equal. That means here it is 30 degrees plus 30 degrees. That is going to be 60 degrees. See? As simple as that. A very simple answer. Clear? Good. So that is the reason why the answer is option C. Okay? Good. Now we have a special case. Special case of incidence. What is that called as normal incidence? And what does that normal word mean? Normal will mean perpendicular. So whenever a ray of light is incident in this way, it is incident perpendicular to surface. It is incident perpendicular to surface. Then we say that it is the case of normal incidence. And here, the interesting point is, Or let me ask you this. What is the angle of incidence? Can you tell what is the angle of incidence in this case? Try doing it. Okay, obviously the information is on the screen. But still, what is the angle of incidence? It is 0 degrees. Why is that? See, when you draw the normal, see here, the incident ray is along the normal. That means both of them are along the same direction. They are parallel. Now what is the angle between them? The angle between them will be 0 degrees. So in the case of normal incidence, you can say that the incident ray coincides with the normal at the point of incidence. That means the angle of incidence is 0 degrees. I is equal to 0 degrees. And we know from laws of reflection, R is equal to I. So angle of reflection will also be 0 degrees. So if the angle made with normal is 0 degrees, that means you should have a parallel line. It will be parallel. That means the reflected ray will also be upwards. Just look at the arrow. Those arrows will take care. This arrow refers to incident ray. This refers to reflected ray. That's it. So normal incidence, this is the case. The light will go back along the same path in which it has come. Same path, it will follow the same path back. And I is equal to 0 degrees and R is equal to 0 degrees. Do not forget this point. Many people tend to get confused here. I is equal to 0 degrees. Do not forget that. Okay. So you can see the ray is reflected along the same path along which it was incident, along which it has come. Got it? Good. A simple question on this. What is the angle of reflection in the following case? The diagram is shown to you. So what is the answer? 0 degrees or 90 degrees? We just discussed this. So very quick, 15 seconds. Please answer this. The angle of reflection in the following case, 0 or 90? Yeah? We just now discussed this, and what is the answer? The answer is 0 degrees. Why? Because see, this is the incident ray. The arrow is shown. How will the reflected ray be? The reflected ray will also be in the same direction. It will be upwards. I is equal to 0 degrees. R will be equal to 0 degrees. That's it. And what is this case called as? This case is called as normal incidence. Normal incidence. Clear? Good. Okay. So I think we are out of time. So end the class for now. Right. We'll again continue in the next class. But please do understand and practice the laws of reflection. Okay. So thank you. Thanks a lot.